Greetings, fellow songwriters and seekers, and welcome back to Muse Measure. If you haven't done so yet, please take a moment, click the little guy on the lotus petal, and subscribe. My subscriber numbers have kind of stagnated and slowed, maybe because of that 6 weeks I took off because of the frozen shoulder, but whatever. You can't be chasing after numbers on YouTube, but it would be nice to have more subscribers. So if you're liking what you see on this channel, please do so. It really helps things out, I guess. Carol from Columbus, Ohio asks, do you think improvisation is a way of bypassing your habits as a songwriter, or does it eventually develop its own habits? How do you recognize when an improvised idea deserves to be shaped rather than left raw? Wow, this is an excellent question, and it really speaks to the whole creative process. Because, you know, when you're first starting out, you don't have any habits. And then you develop good habits, hopefully. Maybe you develop bad ones too at the same time. We develop just habits, you know, just like life. You have good habits that you've developed and bad habits that you've developed. What's cool about the creative process, songwriting in general, is that you become aware of these habits. And you either try to break out of the habits to do new things, or you just accept your habits and just kind of rest on your laurels and just try to do the best with them. And I mean, obviously my attitude comes through with the tone around that I think you should try to break up your habits. But I guess there's nothing really wrong if you have good habits and you're writing good songs that you just keep on keeping on, you know. And maybe you write 1,000 songs that are in a similar style or vein. And who am I to say that that's not a valid use of your time? For me, my whole spiritual practice and what I'm trying to do with songwriting and through improv is to kind of break out of habits. But I think the best way to break out of habits is to become aware of them. So when you ask, is it a way of bypassing your habits? Well, it's just a way of kind of putting the spotlight on your habits. And you can see when you're improvising that, like, what you do habitually all of a sudden becomes just so apparent. Because it's kind of disappointing when you do it, because when you're in the improvising mode, you want to be doing new things and making new steps and leaping out of your current status quo, your current mindset. And when you don't, it feels disappointing. At least it does for me. That's the experience I have. When I do something that's just a little too safe, either chordally, lyrically, or melodically, that maybe just sounds like something that you would expect. But because you're aware of it, maybe that's what it needs in the moment. And I guess it's a balancing. So when you listen back to your improv later on, you're going to be hearing all your habits and you're going to be hearing these breakthroughs. I really think that music is about surprises. Of course, you have to set up a status quo for there to be surprises. So if everything's a surprise, then that becomes unsurprising. And you just expect that. But the surprises come when it leads to something and then all of a sudden it swerves and takes a right turn. So your habits can lead you in the right direction, and hopefully the flow and the stream of consciousness of your mind and the imagery and the lyrics and the melody will take you into something new. It's kind of like, you know, when you take a cat outside for the first time, or when children are really allowed to play freely for the first time outside of the rules. At first, they're going to be kind of, you know, stomping with trepidation and just feeling around, getting their bearings down, and might be doing some habitual things. But then there's a moment where there's this exuberance, this breaking out of that, where you have this ability for freedom. And that's when improvisation happens, because somebody is acting in a way that they don't have a preconceived idea about what's supposed to happen. They're not being so self-conscious and acting how they're expected to act. And that's how I see what happens in the creative process with improvisation and songwriting, is that you go down a pathway, and maybe it's a pathway that you've done hundreds and hundreds of times. So I pick up the guitar and I start doing, you know, just the normal finger picking thing. That's something I've done so many times, and it's kind of disappointing. You know, if I pick up a guitar, I play a C chord, and that's what I start with. So that's the habit. But then my boredom and my expectation that I should do something more interesting maybe makes me do something weird like that. Or some polyrhythms develops, like. And then, so I kind of wait. I kind of layer in that way. And that's kind of, just using song structure, which is another habit. Most songs don't start right with the singer singing. There's usually some kind of introduction. And I've found this with my improv that, I'll pick up the guitar and that's the first thing that gets going. And then I try to open up a little bit. And I get to that. And then I feel like, okay, this is new territory. And now let's add something else. So I'll start singing. I usually let some kind of image come into my mind or words. And sometimes you just got to wait for it. Sometimes it's not going to come right away. Or if it doesn't come at all, you can just look around. What do you see? It's too bright. And you may not like what you first sang. Shut the light off. And then maybe your habit is also going to say, okay, well, this is sucking, so let's try something different. So you can just follow that. The knots form in my throat. I can't get out a note. And then when you hit something you like, then your instinct is to repeat it, and that's okay. I'm dancing with my feet tied. Trying to cover up for all my life. So obviously when I'm doing this in a meta way where I'm trying to describe what's going on inside my mind, I'm not in the flow, but I'm just trying to talk about the habits and how you should work with them. And this is just like meditation for me, because when you're sitting, you have the form of meditation. Maybe you're supposed to be sitting with good posture. You have all these 8 points that you're supposed to be looking at: good posture, your eyesight, where it's supposed to be. And then there's actually the form of the meditation, like what you're supposed to be doing with your mind, which is like watching thoughts go by. And then you get caught in thoughts, and you have this habit of reacting to the thoughts in the same way. Like if it's something that came up, like early in the day, you're upset about something at work, and you react to it habitually. It's as if it's actually happening in that moment. But then you have this moment of freedom where that realization that this is just a thought bursts that bubble, and you have the freedom. Then all of a sudden, I'm free of that. Or your imagination takes it into some kind of weird dreamlike state where things start morphing and things start acting in ways that they don't normally act. So that's freedom, and that's what improvisation is. It's like when you're working without a script all of a sudden. You might start with a certain framework. It's kind of impossible not to. I mean, we have preconceived notions of things. And you start with that framework, but then very soon, if you're in the spirit of improvisation and trying to do something new and experiencing some kind of freedom, then you're going to want to break out of those habits. So you're going to be aware of it. I mean, the best moments of improv is when I don't even realize what I'm doing and it's just flowing right out. And that usually happens after doing it for days and days and days, and I just stop thinking about it and something good comes. Just because your mind just gets exhausted and it's ready to let go. But when you don't have that and you are relating to the habits of what you're prone to do as a musician, as a songwriter, and they just keep coming up, like your vocal range you're singing in, whether you sing in the safe range where you can sing in, you never go higher, you never go lower, then you can realize that, and in the moment, like, okay, well, what would happen if I go high all of a sudden and I sing in a falsetto voice? Or what would happen if I stop finger picking the guitar, but I use it as a percussion instrument? And you just get these little ideas that pop in your head, and it would be nice if it was just all in the flow and it just came right out of you, but you can work with whatever comes up, and that's really cool. And what's especially nice about it is you don't have to play this for anybody. You don't have to share this with anybody. This is just for you. And when you hit those moments, it's just so delightful. It's like tasting real freedom all of a sudden. But it is in the shadow of your habits. But that's okay. Your habits inform them. And if you didn't have the habits, you wouldn't have anything to push off of. And so when those habits come up, that's your chance. Once you realize you're going down a habitual streak, then you push off. And then you get to new places. And sometimes it really bears incredible fruit. I've written a lot of songs from improvisations that I never would have written in a million years if I had sat down with a pen and paper and a guitar and just tried to start like, okay, well, I'm going to write a verse now. Let me come up with a guitar lick or a chord progression. Let me try to put a melody over it. Nothing wrong with writing like that, and I do write like that. But I also like, and I have discovered this new form of songwriting through improv that I really find quite interesting and takes me to new places. Now, when I bring these to the songwriting session, then I do the normal songwriting and try to tweak and polish them and get them to a much better spot in as far as being songs, so that other people can enjoy them, because you don't want something that's too loose and ragtag and ragged. Now, you asked about whether things should be raw. Well, that's really up to you and what you're comfortable with. Sometimes improvs could be totally valid in their own right. But I think for most people, most listeners, they want something a little bit more polished. Remember, you're trying to communicate something emotional. You're trying to communicate some kind of story, some kind of imagery. And unless your skills are really fine-tuned, like a really great jazz musician, you're not going to hit all those just right out of the gate. You're just going to have a lot of stumbles and fumbles that you want to edit out or revise. But that doesn't mean that never happens. There's been times where I sat down and improvised and the song was done and I felt, that's great. I'm just going to record a better version of it. Still polish it up, but the song's done. But that's rare. That's a rare gift. And that usually comes after many, many sessions of improving. So you're building this craft of improving that sometimes bears these great fruit. But it also bears all these little minor things that you can use and little surprises that you can come up with. So I don't know. I hope that's helpful. And I just say keep at it and enjoy it. It's for fun. It's not this arduous work that, being at the grindstone for hours, working away, working on one line of a song for hours and hours and hours. It's the funner, freer side of that, which is the joy of improving and tasting that real freedom. Okay, well, I hope that helps you. And if you have any other follow-up questions or want to share your experience with this, please put your comments down below. Best of luck with your songwriting, your improvisation, and all of this is one big spiritual practice. All right, take care.